Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about something every single one of us has, a personal story. But, how do you actually take an experience from your life and turn it into something powerful, something that really connects?
And that is a fantastic question, right? Because we're not just talking about, writing in a diary. Not at all. We're talking about the actual craft of turning your own unique experience into a story that grabs people and resonates with them. So, yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, first things first, it's really important to get that personal storytelling isn't some new thing, like a blog or a social media trend. No, it has this incredibly rich, deep history, and it's all built on this one core idea that one person's story can actually mean something to everyone. I mean, this tradition goes way back. We're talking 4th century. St. Augustine is writing his Confessions, basically using his life story for some serious self examination. Fast forward to the Enlightenment, you've got figures like Ben Franklin and Rousseau saying, hey, individual experience matters. And it just keeps going right up to the day with writers like Roxane Gay and Ta-Nehisi Coates, who use their own personal stories to dive into some of the biggest, most complex social issues we face.
And that really is the crucial point, isn't it? The big idea is that your story, your specific experience, has the power to tap into these bigger, universal human truths. It stops being just about you, and it starts to say something about all of us.
Okay, so what's super interesting here is how these stories actually work. How do they get under our skin? How do they persuade us and make us feel something? Well, it all comes down to a classic framework, the 3 appeals. So think about it. In a formal argument, you might lean almost entirely on logic, what the ancient Greeks called logos. But a personal story, it has to do so much more. It's got to weave together ethos, which is all about building trust and credibility, pathos, which is about making you feel something, and logos, which in storytelling isn't just cold logic, it's about creating meaning and insight. This really breaks down the storyteller's toolkit perfectly. You build trust, that's your ethos, not by bragging about your accomplishments, but just by being honest and genuine. You create emotion, your pathos, not by saying, I was sad, but by showing us a detail, like a crumpled letter that makes us feel sad. And you create meaning, the logos, not with the cheesy moral at the end, but by offering a real, thoughtful reflection on what it all meant. All right, so let's get practical. Let's talk about the how. What are the actual tools you can use to take a memory and shape it into something really special, a real masterpiece? There are a few key techniques we got to cover. First up is the pacing of your story. It's all about knowing when to show and when to tell. Think of a scene as the close-up shot in a movie. You're slowing everything down, letting us live inside a key moment with all the sights, sounds, and dialogue. Then you have summary, which is like the wide shot. It speeds things up, compressing time to get us efficiently from one big moment to the next. Now, this next one is such a powerful technique. The best stories often have 2 voices working together. First, there's the experiencing self. That's the voice of you as it was happening, raw and in the moment. Then there's the narrating self. That's you now, looking back with all the wisdom and hindsight you've gained. Juggling those 2 perspectives, that's what creates real depth and insight. And finally, let's talk about the magic of details. Specifically, details that do double duty. A single small observation can do so much heavy lifting. A character's scuffed up shoes can tell us their entire life story without you having to explain a thing. A dusty, silent room, boom, you've set the mood instantly. Or a recurring image, maybe a misplaced key, can actually push the plot forward and hint at the story's deeper theme. It's all about choosing the right details. Okay, so you might be thinking, this is great, but I'm not planning on writing a memoir. So why does any of this matter? Well, because storytelling isn't just some artsy thing. It is a totally fundamental, super practical skill for communicating in the real world. I mean, just think about it for a second. That graduate school application essay, the scholarship essay, or that classic job interview question, tell me about a time you faced a challenge. Even a cover letter where you really need to stand out. What are all of those? They're all moments where you have to take your experience and shape it into a compelling story. This is a skill that directly, and I mean directly, translates to real-world success. And really, that's the bottom line here. Forget the practical stuff for a moment. Learning to tell your story is, in a way, learning to understand your story. It's a process that helps you make sense of your own life, your own choices, your place in the world. And at the same time, it's what lets you connect with other people on a way deeper level. So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Try to see your life not just as a bunch of things that happened to you, but as a collection of stories that are just waiting to be told, to be crafted and shared. The only real question left is, what insight will you share?